Welcome to A Healthier, Happier You, the people working to make it happen. I'm Evan J. Cholfin from Luxhammer, where we help the brands help you live healthier. Today, I'm joined by Michael E. Salemi, COO of the packaging company, a leader in premium custom packaging solutions with over 25 years of innovation. Michael, thanks for being here.
Well, thank you for the invite. We're very honored to be here.
So, what's the story behind the packaging company's evolution and custom packaging design?
I was manufacturing in China in the early 90s, and then somebody came to me with a lip gloss tube and said, "Oh, can you make this for me?" I says, "Yeah, but I'm doing hand trucks and lighting and Costco and Home Depot, big stuff." They said, "Well, I'll buy 500,000 pieces." I went, "What?" "Yeah, I'll buy 500,000 pieces." She said, "Well, I can make that." So once I realized that once you made a cosmetic container for an account and it comes out really, really good, they're not shopping around. They don't want to try and fix that, 99% of them. And the business I was in was a commodity business. Who's got the cheapest price? And so I just switched all my manufacturing to doing skincare and cosmetics and medical packaging. 50% of our business is in the U.S. and the other 50% is international. So I think that's pretty good to say. And that's my story. Long Beach, California is our international headquarters. We have engineers and designers in-house, marketing. We don't have salespeople. My close family members think that I would be much better with salespeople, except my experience with salespeople, they just want the order. We want to help the customer. It's not about the order for us. It's about getting this person in business so they're a viable customer in the industry and really partnering with them to make sure it works for them and not just to say, "Oh, give me your order." I told you the story about someone comes to me and they want to buy 25,000 pieces of an item. And I say, "Do you have 25,000 customers?" And they'll say no. And I said, "Well, I won't sell you 25,000 pieces." And they get a little weird, but they start to realize, and I tell them, "You're going to hate me because you don't have 25,000 customers, but you got 25,000 containers sitting in your warehouse you don't know what to do with. And all of a sudden you want to change the artwork." That's our forte. Everything here is service. We don't have any employees that come here and forget to reply to a customer within 24 hours. Doesn't work that way. So we're easily accessible for some customers 7 days a week, if that's what they need. And there are customers out there that when they have a project going, it's 7 days a week, no matter how big they are. So that's pretty much our story.
Yeah, so what makes your approach unique in creating premium packaging solutions?
I'm personally a manufacturer, so I'm not going to sit there and say, yes, yes, yes. I'm going to be real with you. No, we're not going to UV the actuator on your pump because whatever formula you have in that container, it's going to take the UV off. And then you're going to come back to me and say, "Oh, it came off." It all will come off, because almost any formula will take the UV, which is a spray paint for layman's terms, off something that gets the product on it all the time. I guess the biggest compliment I get all the time is people say, "We've never gotten so much information about a container that we want to get that you give us. And you tell us all the bad things and all the good things about the container we want." And we're straight up. Again, we don't have salespeople. It's not like taking the order.
Yeah, definitely. Well, you hinted at a little bit, but what are the core challenges you're solving for cosmetic or personal care brands?
Well, right now, the trend is getting away from acrylic and getting to mono containers. Mono meaning the cap, the pump, and the body is all the same material and recyclable. Europe is, again, way ahead of the U.S. in a lot of aspects, but definitely in packaging. They kind of gave us a start in realizing what we had to change on our components to make them more eco-friendly. And so that's the new trend. People are gravitating more to glass. So we've come out with refillable glass airless jars or refillable glass airless bottles. And people like that. Consumers like that. And tin is coming back into the beauty industry, which left for a long time for plastic. But now people are starting to realize you make a nice tin box and people are not going to throw it away. But that plastic container you made, it's going in the trash. And you can get 365-day-a-year branding at someone's house with the tin that you made for them. Not the tin, the brand that they bought. That's very popular with a lot of our medical people that are consumable items, that they have a branded container that doesn't get thrown in the trash. It has like a second life. Outside of that, not knowing what tariff you have to pay today is really, I don't know. I don't know what our future is. Thank God we've got international business, but it's just a crazy day. It's the people at the lower end of the ladder that are all going to pay for it. Yeah. People at the top end of the ladder, they don't care. They have so much money, it doesn't make a difference to them whether it's $5 or $10. They don't care.
How are tariffs affecting the brands that you're working with?
Everybody's dumbing down. They want to dumb down to the cheapest container that they can get. There isn't a choice. Nobody makes these in the United States, and the only other country that is probably manufacturing in some scale is Korea and Taiwan, and there's a little bit in Thailand and Vietnam, but they don't have the sophistication that you could find in China. It does, but Korea comes to our factory to buy. Korea manufacturers of containers come to our factory and buy containers because they can't make them at the price point that they are trying to compete with. So that's pretty interesting. Europe doesn't really have any cosmetic packaging. Italy does or did, but we're going on vacation for the month of August. Back and talk to us in September about when we'll have your order ready that you gave us in April. What? And I think that's over dramatization, but we've heard horror stories about that. They're in a different world. The more countries I go to, the more I realize that Americans pretty much are the hottest workers in the world. You know, when it comes to business people here, they're pretty much 24/7 if you're running the business.
And which types of brands benefit most from your custom solutions?
The types of brands we've sold, Obagi is a very big brand or billion-dollar company. They came to me and they wanted a mascara container, but out of the 50 mascara brushes we offered, they didn't like any of them. So it took us a while, but we designed a custom brush for them for that particular product. The product grows eyebrows and eyelashes, and it works. And it's a very good product. We have several customers, national and domestically, that have that product on the market, and it's a pretty strong product. Once people use it, they keep using it, and it's expensive. I think the retail price of some of them are as much as $120 for 3 ml. But it works, and I guess to women who want beauty, probably lasts you 3 or 4 months, but you'll have long eyelashes that you don't have to put in the morning before you walk out the door. So there is a benefit to that. In our business, we have to sign a lot of NDAs. Some of our customers don't even want us to tell people that we make their packaging. And that's their choice, and we respect that a lot. Fortunately, Obagi, we've been with them for so long, it's not a challenge with them. Some of the other big brands, even the P&G brands, they're just very particular on that. But there are companies that we go and look for business from because to us, they're too corporate and too many moving pieces. So the medium-sized companies where you're talking to the entrepreneur, he'll make a decision and the project will move along. Sometimes in the big brands, nobody wants to make a decision, maybe because they're being paid too much money and they're afraid of losing their job. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, that could be a challenge for sure. So what is the packaging company becoming known for in terms of technical innovation?
Quality. Yeah, quality and delivery service. Technical wise, everyone's got pretty much the same thing. We have patents in the US, Canada, and China on some of our medical products that are child resistant. And that's pretty much what we became known on, our medical end, because I figured out how much force it took to make a product child resistant. So once I identified the force, then I designed buttons that you had to meet that force to get a certificate for it. So that was hard for the patent office to understand it, but fortunately I had good patent attorneys that made them realize no one has ever figured this out. My friends say, well, are you some sort of mathematician? No, I just read a lot of online medical stuff about how much pressure a 52-month-old boy, because that's pretty much the cutoff, can exert. And what the measurements are and the size of their hands and things like that. So that's just how I came up with it to figure that out. Outside of that, it's not much other than the story. I mean, I'm sure there is, but to me, I've been doing it for so long, I just don't think anything is new and amazing.
Sure, it's all new and amazing to our listeners. What's been your biggest challenge in serving premium brands?
The brands not knowing the realities of manufacturing, because, they just bring us things that you can't make this. We don't have a machine that would make this. That's pretty much it, outside of the fact that nobody wants to make a decision. But outside of that, once we get the artwork, once we get the order, everything rolls pretty smooth, except some of our customers will change the artwork 4 times after they give us the order. But we've been doing it for so long, we know that every artwork we get needs a date and a signature on a PDF. So my production people, they came up with that, saying, we're not doing this no more. We get so mixed up. We got 5 artworks for the same order. And how is the factory supposed to recognize which is which? So we overcame that little challenge. Outside of that, no, I'm not retired. I mean, I'm not retiring. I do have 2 sons. They have other ventures in life. My oldest, I think he wants to come back, but he's got his own business going on. So that's fine with us. I used to speak more Chinese than I do now, but I have great workers in China. They've been with me 19 years, just really good people. I tried to bring a factory to Long Beach because we had designed a machine that assembled pumps, and one operator could do 25,000 pumps a day with one machine, but he can run 4 machines. So, but when it came down to, okay, we'll ship the equipment here, we'll ship some components here, and then we'll do the assembly and stuff, it was labor. We couldn't count on getting labor that was going to stay. In China, we have people working on the same machine for 20 years. I mean, you just don't worry about it. And a lot of them end up fixing it at the same time. But here, the challenge that I think all companies are having is it's just a high turnover of people. I mean, our company, we give our employees breakfast and lunch. We have 11 or 12 paid holidays because we observe the Asian holidays, the New Year's, and other holidays. And we try to give everybody a very big bonus twice a year. But it still doesn't keep them. It doesn't keep them. And I guess that's just society today, and especially in California, which is so many opportunities for people.
Well, it is a challenge, I think, to retain great employees for a lot of brands. So you're identifying a key challenge across the board that a lot of companies have.
I think we could start by educating the employees that the grass isn't greener in the other person's yard. You just got to learn how to throw some fertilizer on your yard to make it greener. And good employees, companies that are sole proprietors, have good employees, they'll pay them anything to keep them. They'll treat them very well. And the only reason we actually lose employees is they move or the commute is too far. So we stop hiring people that are farther than 15 miles from our office. It doesn't work. It works in the summer, but when it's November and you got a monsoon and it's a Friday night and it takes 2 hours for them to get home, it's not healthy.
The commute is real. And
yeah,
the greater LA, Long Beach area for sure.
Yeah. So all of our employees live about within 10 miles of the office, which isn't bad. They can go surface streets.
Yeah, that's great. So on a different note, how are you navigating sustainability requirements while maintaining premium quality?
We're doing the mono materials, so it's all recyclable. Quality is relative to the artwork and the finishes on the product. That really gives you the quality. I mean, we have 0 defects in our airless line. People find that a little challenging. We do have companies that contact us for us to tell them why their airless is not working, and that's pretty easy to do. After doing it for so long, you just know there's only so many things that's going to stop it from working. A lot of the times it's the fill, because the batch settles, and when it settles on the container, the little stem doesn't touch the product, so it doesn't pump product anymore. That's probably the majority of my airless spoiler didn't.
And are you seeing supply chain challenges? And if so, how are you managing those for materials?
No, we don't have any supply chain challenges. Our dollar is very strong. 1 year, it's up 13% on exchange rate. So that's worked out very good. And where we manufacture is currently going through a recession. So people are a little bit more responsive, and they're very thankful for the business they do have that they're doing with you. And we don't have logistics issues because we've been doing it for so long. We just know what players to partner with. That's really a big challenge for a lot of big companies. I see that they always have logistic issues. It makes no sense. Why are you going with these people when they charge you more? Because we can go to the internet and find out where our product is. So you can do that with any product you buy, because all those containers are on the internet. You just punch in the number and it'll show you on the ocean where that container is. Yeah, I know. But a lot of people don't know that. They're kind of like, yeah, they can tell us where our container is. Okay. So outside of that, raw materials are there, just switching over to more raw materials made out of Earth's products. Like glass is made out of sand and steel is made out of ore and other minerals, and getting away from the plastic world. When we came out with one division of our container line, we refused to do plastic. We would only do an aluminum, glass, or tin. And a lot of big customers are coming to know we don't want to do plastic. We're not going to go down that road. We're not going to contribute to what is really a crisis. Maybe 10 years ago, I was sitting in a hotel room and I saw this island in the Pacific that had a snow berm around the island on the beach, but it wasn't snow. It was all plastic. And I was just horrified. And I just couldn't believe that this actually exists. Of course, you hear stories, people tell you the islands are plastic and stuff, but seeing it at a beautiful tropical island in the Pacific just made me, I got to do something. I just got to stop making plastic. So now we have recyclable, we have sugarcane, we have PLA, which is a biodegradable plastic also, especially in tubes. We've done that in tubes and we've done that in plastic trays, the PLA. PLA you can't use for everything. It's very sensitive to heat. So if you had a PLA compact and you put it on your dashboard in Las Vegas, when you came out, it would have melted on your dashboard. So it's kind of interesting. I think that's it. You know, there's going to be some diehards that you can't get out of plastic, but I think they're going to come around. I think they're going to come around from consumer demand when the competitors start advertising refillable glass bottles and the refill is 100% recyclable.
Yeah, that's great to see, especially just from a sustainability standpoint. And so, what are your main growth targets in premium packaging?
We're very lucky. We had like a 20%, 25% growth last year. I don't think we'll get it this year, but to me, it's coming out with new items. Just keep pushing for new items, new designs, unique designs, entering into more tin plate and more aluminum containers for different industries. Try to stay ahead of the curve, knowing that it's eventually going to be there. But right now, people are stuck on plastic. You know, that's pretty much it that I can see. There are some other small projects that I've been working on, but I'm not ready. My engineer and I just are ready to divulge what they are, because every time I do that, I get disappointed that it's not done. So I always try to just wait till it's done. Sometimes it takes me a couple years to figure it out, get it going. So we kind of wait till it's done. But primarily, our business is service and quality. In almost any business, everyone thinks it's price. It's not. The people who buy price realize that that is not the best way to go, because they get challenges that come with it. But the people, who want service and want quality, that's pretty much the top of everybody's list. And you always say to your people, why did you buy that? You actually did not make that decision. And of course, they can't tell you. I can tell them, because their subconscious verified that it had a perceived value of a very good product. Didn't matter what's inside of it. The subconscious doesn't know that. It's a perceived value. We're always trying to educate our customers that people buy on perceived value. You could have the greatest product in the world and the worst package, and your competitor could have the worst product and the best package, and he's going to sell more than you. And we know that because we have customers just like that. We have customers that sell an item for $59 and we sell a competitive item for $129, and the $129 buys more containers than the $59, and the $59 product is so much better. It's perceived value.
Yeah, definitely. And so how are you approaching relationships with luxury brands?
We do a lot of blogs. We do a lot of postings. We have SEO. We have a website we're about ready to relaunch again, which is airlessbottles.com. I got that website maybe 10 or 15 years ago when airless bottles became popular. We don't go around knocking on too many doors. I mean, we have about 2,000 or 3,000 people on our e-blast list in different industries, and we get responses. We just did an e-blast on our refillable glass airless bottle, and people are interested in that. The unique thing about glass, it's less expensive than plastic because it's made out of sand and it's not made out of oil. And it has the weight 10 or 50 times more than plastic. So the perceived value in this, the weight of it is a selling feature to the part of the person that makes the decision to buy. And it's not conscious. I guess a lot of it is just educating customers, even big brand customers. But again, we don't go after the big brand customers. They're sometimes more of a headache than they are worth. And we like that medium-sized customer that is steady and, just keep on going and very appreciative of the service you give them because they're going to be there tomorrow. We've got some customers, 4 buyers in 4 years. They're very hard to keep up with. These are packaging buyers. They're just very difficult to keep up with. No one comes in all the time. So that's pretty much it. Just stay away from the guys that want to use your money to run their business.
Do you think that there's opportunities to do more brand outreach? And if so, what does it look like to scale up your business to support that?
Well, right now we're doing trade shows in one of our categories, probably 6 trade shows a year all over Canada and the USA and Germany. We'll be in Germany for a trade show this year, first time for us. But we've got some customers over there, and we kind of feel like, we can do a good job for them. And we've gotten great feedback from the customers we do have in Europe. The Middle East is a challenge. We get a lot of inquiries from the Middle East, but I don't know if they're window shopping or cost is a premium in their book for buying something. It's interesting when you need a factory to supply components to you, whether it's stainless steel springs or whether it's buttons or something. I always ask the factory, so who do you sell to? Where's your customer base? And if they tell you it's Germany, the U.S., European Union, okay. But if they come back and tell you, we sell a lot to the Middle East and India, then we just know they're making price. They're just making products for price. So we just shy away from them because it takes us a long time to teach them how to make components to our standards. One component I got a patent on, it took me 2 years and 5 factories to finally find a factory that could make the component I needed because it had a very strict specification. But usually people complain about packaging. They have to look in the mirror. It doesn't matter where it was made. You look in the mirror and what did you do or not do that gave you this headache with packaging. And some of the big star celebrity brands I know have had their headaches with packaging because maybe there was too many people trying to make the sauce. It just didn't come out.
Yeah, that's certainly too many cooks in the kitchen, as they say. So I'm curious, what trends are you seeing in premium packaging that excite you?
Getting away from plastic. That's really the big thing. Yeah, that's really exciting for us. Getting people reintroduced to aluminum and tin, and you tell people sugar cane is the plastic, and they're just kind of like, what? It's made from sugar cane. And it's not that much more expensive than plastic. And eventually, as the demand goes up, it's going to come down.
What potential industry changes are you preparing for?
As of today, it just looks like we have to move our office to a different country we do more business in. I don't know if I can wait 3 years, 7 months, but we just got to try to hang in there for 3 years and 7 months and try to manage what we got and try to find solution. There's no solution. Everyone's going to have to pay more, but that means we have to take money off our bottom line to keep things going, or the customers have to take money off their bottom line, or just everything has to go up proportionally to the tariffs. I'm trying to figure out one tariff because we had a 28% tariff and then another 10, so that put us at 38. And now they just came out with a 25% on aluminum. So I'm trying to figure out, is it 28, 38, and now another 25% on top of that? My custom broker hasn't got back to me. We just don't know. And you try to go online and find out, and you don't know. I guess somebody's playing chess or something, check and checkmate type of stuff with international trade when they don't realize. I mean, people always say that we went to another country to manufacture. In some senses, we did. But I know in our factory, we put all our money back into automation. And what we saw in the U.S. is we saw venture capitalists going in, buying and liquidating, and nobody putting any money back into automation. And automation would have replaced the labor cost that they complain about in the U.S. And I've seen automation in China that just absolutely stuns me. Yeah. Punching a computer, the tooling that you need to make your next injection molding, the robot will go in the tool room and take the mold, which could be 500 pounds, 600 pounds, and put it on a trolley and take it out to the machine. And then there's a an arm there that picks it up and sticks it in the machine. Yeah. Where before this was all done relatively by hand. We went from having 36, 72 operators or 50, 60 operators for 18 injection mold machines to two, all by automation. Two people operate 18 injection molding machines, and everything's automated. It's taken out of the machine, it's put in a box, it's put in a case, and a robotic forklift comes and sticks it on a shelf with a QR code that gets scanned. So when you call it up, you just call up this QR code. We could have done that in the US. Amazon did it, and they got very rich. It's very hard to compete with Amazon. You go to a big box hardware store, you'll pay $13 for an item, and you buy it for $5.50, and you'll get it tomorrow. I don't know how long this is going to go on like that. I guess people like going shopping, but if you're busy, you're going to go that route.
So if we have this conversation in 12 months, what achievements would make you say it's been a successful year?
That we're still in business and we only have 2 years, 7 months left.
Love it. Absolutely love it. All right.
We just got to learn to, hang out there. We keep coming up with new items all the time. Sometimes when you come up with them, people will say to you, well, you don't have any sales on that. I says, yeah, that's right. We don't. And we won't for 1 to 2 to 3 years. But after a while, when people realize this is the new buzz, the new item to work with, then they come back. It's like glass refillables. I mean, we came out with that. We wanted it for a long time. And finally, we launched it. And now we're seeing the demand for that is pretty strong for refillables and glass refillable airless bottles and jars. That's a good one.
Yeah, and that innovation really helps to drive growth, and it's amazing that you're continuing to do it.
It gets boring if you're not.
That's right. Well, that's it for today's episode of Healthier, Happier You, the people working to make it happen. A huge thank you to Michael E. Salemi for sharing his insights and the amazing work the packaging company is doing to help people live healthier, happier lives. If you enjoy this conversation, make sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who could benefit. And if you're a brand or business making an impact in health, wellness, or personal care, we'd love to help you grow. Connect with me at luxhammer.com. Thanks for listening. Until next time, stay healthy, stay happy, and keep making a difference.
Thank you very much.